Here's the tail of the tape. You see that both fighters come in light. The weight was 154 pounds. The only difference, Norris 3 years older than Daniels. The WBC rules are in effect. The 10-point must, no 3 knockdown rule or standing 8 count. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell except in the final round, and only the referee can stop the fight. And that referee is this man, Lou Filippo from California. And we are ready to go for the WBC Super Welterweight title held by Terry Norris. And of course, just to make our job easy, both fighters come out wearing white trunks.
Well, thank Terry for wearing the trunks with the fringe on the side.
Carl Daniels has green trim. You can see Norris has the red markings on the front of both of his legs, the tassels.
Also, Carl Daniels is a southpaw. That'll help people.
That will help, but again, not made for television, as both fighters wearing the same color trunk. Terry Norris with the tremendous hand speed. Alex, I think back to the first time we saw him in that short-lived fight against Julian Jackson, how impressed we were with the great hand speed of Terry Norris.
Good left lead there by Carl Daniels, the challenger on the right. Carl has, quick hands of his own. We should set up the fact that he was an outstanding amateur, a world junior champion in 1987, but amazingly, a year later, he turned pro. The flyweight weight division is 112 pounds. Turned pro at 143 pounds. 31 pounds heavier in a little bit more than a year.
Well, they use the term all the time in boxing about a huge step up in class. That falls short in describing what Carl Daniels is doing today and taking on a talent the likes of Terry Norris.
I guess part of our job here also, in addition to following the fight, is trying to figure out what Terry Norris's head says. I haven't come up with it yet.
Again, a reminder, I'm going to have to do this periodically throughout the fight. Norris is with the red trim. You see the red tassels on his shoes. The green trim belongs to the challenger, Carl Daniels. Both of them obviously wearing white trunks. See green, think Daniels.
Interesting that Carl has come in here and is not frozen. The first title shot, we've emphasized that he's never come close to facing anybody remotely in the neighborhood of Terry Norris's class. He's been in here throwing punches and not intimidated by the occasion.
He threw that left and got a little off balance.
Yeah, but he just got very low under a number of punches by Terry Norris and came up with a combination of his own. One of the storylines behind this fight is the fact that Carl Daniels is in his first fight under new management, and that management is Donald Curry, none other than the man who Terry Norris knocked out and retired last year. And Donald Curry chose to put his young, unbeaten fighter in with Terry Norris, saying that he thinks he can beat him, and it's a tremendous opportunity that they could not afford to pass up.
And I think he also thinks that at 21, a loss wouldn't be devastating to Daniels. The end of the first round. Carl Daniels comes flying out of his corner here in the beginning of the second round, and now we have a little World Wrestling Federation action up here. Carl Daniels acting like this is the last round.
Well, he's trying very hard to demonstrate that he is not intimidated and is not in here just for a payday. For Terry Norris is going to have to fight to retain his championship.
Terry Norris has the word San Diego written across the back of his head, and there's his father, Orland Norris Sr., who's at ringside. Looks on. Orland, a club fighter in his day, and of course his son, Orland Jr., a heavyweight of some note.
Good right jab there by Carl Daniels. Terry Norris told us yesterday that fighting southpaws would not bother him. But when you fight a southpaw and you try to box with him, it can be difficult. Oh, good right hand. And Norris was wobbled and holds on.
Falling away, Carl Daniels threw a right-hand counter that caught Norris right on the chin.
And right now, it's Carl Daniels with his back to you, the southpaw who looks like the champion, and Terry Norris, the 10-to-1 favorite, who looks like the challenger. Still very early.
Very early is right, only the second round, but still, so many times you see the challenger come out tight, and another good Look at Carl Daniels get on the bicycle. And now this is just plain wrestling here. Filippo's got to get in and separate these.
Oh, but the right jab of Carl Daniels is just connected with force. That's a slip.
Well, that was a slip or a throw.
Maybe.
I mean, that was Norris just threw Daniels to the ground and gets warned by Filippo. But you're right. Norris appears to be confused by Daniels' southpaw style.
And especially the right jab coming from that side. He says he had plenty of sparring with the southpaw.
Oh, a good left hand by Daniels gets in. Carl is very effective in coming from the right, coming from the left, changing up and coming back from the opposite direction. A jab, that time scored by Daniels. And right now, Carl Daniels has a very confident look on his face.
Come on, punch out. Get that arm out.
This is a very pro-Norris crowd here. In excess of 5,000 people here in San Diego. And they're a little taken back right now. Oh, good right hand by Carl Daniels, who's turned in a very solid second round. Action in the opening seconds of the third round here in San Diego, California. I'm Dan Eardorf along with Alex Swallow on the Fruit of the Loom Professional Boxing Series. And it was a strong second round turned in by challenger Carl Daniels, who again has the green trim on his white trunks. The champion Terry Norris, who just landed a couple good punches, has the red trim.
They say the way to beat a southpaw is with right hand leads, and Terry just landed a good one.
And right now, Norris appears to have a more focused look on his face.
Yeah, and Carl's not throwing as much. Carl came out trying to send a message in the opening seconds of round two. Won that round, I thought, convincingly. Laying back a little bit here. Maybe it suddenly hit him. Jeez.
Yeah.
I just won a round in a world championship fight.
Would not be wise for Daniels to start thinking like that. But Terry Norris, clearly more assertive here in the third round.
And making Daniels miss more. There's the right jab that Carl was landing so much in round two.
Oh, and a mouthpiece just came out. I'm not sure whose it is.
Under the rules, when there's a break in the action, the action needs to be stopped. Terry Norris' mouth was bloodied in the second round.
I'm not sure which. Can you
tell?
The
referee Lou Filippo threw it over to this corner, the Daniels corner. So it must be Carl. But it's actually Terry who's fighting like a man who's lost his mouthpiece.
That was a good left hand finally, but not until Daniels had scored with about 5 punches. Oh, and Terry Norris, a right to the head.
It is Carl who's missing the mouthpiece. Scoring left-hand lead. Now the referee just called time and he'll replace the mouthpiece. I'm not sure there was any more of a break in the action there.
No.
But the referee said, well, if I wait for a break, I might be waiting between rounds.
Again, Californian Lou Filippo is the referee in today's scheduled 12-rounder. And for those of you who've already figured out these two fighters, I have to keep reminding people, Norris is in the red trim. Carl Daniels, the challenger, in the green trim.
And Norris has the white fringe. And Daniels is the southpaw, who's on the right of your screen right now. Only 21 years old, Carl Daniels.
And the man who rented his head to the San Diego Chamber of Commerce is Terry Norris, as the word San Diego emblazoned on the back of his head.
Terry Norris carrying his left too low. Oh, good scoring left by Daniels.
We've come to the